Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Jessica Clemons, and Fantastic Four First Steps is right around the corner, which brings more talks from Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige, Fantastic Four director Matt Shakman, and so many more. Additionally, we haven't explored the CCXP footage all that much that people have been talking about. So in this video, we'll discuss a few alarming details from the Empire article, the new footage from CCXP, and just why Franklin Richards is the most important baby in the universe. But first, before I get into it, make sure to check out nerdriot.shop, where you can find the latest and greatest in New Rockstars merch. We've got some Fantastic Four merch all in and out of there. We also have these great Jurassic World Rebirth shirts. I'm obsessed with our Jurassic World stuff. It is so perfect. Okay, now let's get into this video. Empire released an exclusive interview with the cast of Fantastic Four, along with Kevin Feige and Matt Shakman, on what to expect in the Fantastic Four First Steps. There are a lot of fun parts to this article, although it feels like a little bit dry. That's not the journalist's fault. That's definitely on Marvel, because they like to keep secrets. But in the article, they summarize the origins of the Fantastic Four and their relationship for newcomers. They discuss how the comics emerged during a weird time, which contributed to some of their silliness and odd banter. And for context, Marvel's Fantastic Four comics first released over 60 years ago in 1961. The Fantastic Four actually kicked off Marvel Comics that we know today, and when the company started in 1939, they were known as Timely Comics, and by 1951, they were Atlas Comics. But in 61, Stan Lee, Jack Kirby, and Steve Ditko helped kick off the more superhero-focused Marvel Comics that we know today. And Fantastic Four issue number 1 in 1961 really solidified that change, and that's why it's such a big deal for Marvel Studios to nail this film. The Fantastic Four are Marvel Comics' first big success, and they want to honor that by finally making a beloved Fantastic Four film that honors these characters. It's also no coincidence that it's the cover that is immortalized by a giant metal disc that is embedded into the ground near where we see the Fantastic Four standing in a shot from the trailer. Just the way Fantastic Four saved this city in the film, they also saved Marvel Comics in our reality. This whole conundrum of honoring legendary characters is a similar problem that DC Studios is also focusing on this July, taking their flagship characters from a bygone era and finding a place for them in this crazy modern world that might see them out of this time. Can you imagine getting both a great Fantastic Four film and a great Superman film in the same month? 2025 is literally wild, and I'm getting ahead of myself. The Empire article highlights the success of Fantastic Four in comics despite their lackluster performances in live-action adaptations. They describe the early 2000s Fantastic Four films as goofy fun, but now dated, while labeling the 2015 version as a box office bomb. And this leads to the notion that the Fantastic Four might be a cursed property, which can't be, completely true, because why would they keep making the Resident Evil movies? Talk about real cursed property, give me what I want. Regardless, Feige notes that when Disney bought Fox, it was really an unexpected dream come true. It came at the perfect time to help us launch into a new era. They are Marvel's first family, and I really wanted to do them justice. First of all, Feige really loves saying era, saga, another word that means a giant length of time. But secondly, Feige also isn't new to Marvel's first family. He was an executive producer on the two Tim Story Fantastic Four films, 2005's Fantastic Four and its 2007 sequel, Fantastic Four Rise of the Silver Surfer. If you haven't checked out either of those films, or it's been a while since you last saw them, you can watch our recent breakdowns of the two films that Erik did right here on the New Rockstars channel. So Fantastic Four films are nothing new to Feige, and he basically sums up that this one will be superior to the other ones, and they've taken the necessary steps to ensure this, flagging things that did and didn't work, like Galactus from the Rise of the Silver Surfer and the Galactus that we're getting today, while also recalling and reflecting on various aspects of their long-standing comics. Matt Shakman tells Empire people were wowed by the wonder and the wit in regards to Fantastic Four issue number 1 that released in November of 1961, but they were completely in love with the messiness of the family. That's the cornerstone of this comic book, and that's essential to the movie. Now, I know he's probably speaking regarding to the dysfunction and silliness that comes with a family. Still, from the latest Fantastic Four ticket sales video, we also know that it gives us our first official look at baby Franklin Richards. So their family is notably getting bigger, and we'll actually see someone's true first steps. Well, he's a baby, so maybe we don't see his true first steps, but maybe we do. I don't know. This and the footage at CCXP both showcase Franklin Richards, but in the CCXP footage, it's a lot more interesting. The scene shown at CCXP starts with the Fantastic Four, Reed, Sue, Johnny, and Ben inside their ship, the Excelsior, as Sue goes into labor. And this looks like the same ship with the Fantastic Four logo on it that was shown entering Earth's atmosphere at the end of the Thunderbolts, which took place 14 months after the events of the bulk of that film. However, Feige has noted in this Empire article what we at New Rockstars have already suspected. He said in regards to the ship in Thunderbolts, well, the name of their ship is Excelsior, and there is a Fantastic Four ship entering the MCU in the tag, but I'm not sure they're the same ship. And then back to the clip shown at CCXP, the Excelsior is being chased by the Silver Surfer, Shalaval, and Ben takes over piloting the ship to try and shake her off and outrun her. The Fantastic Four jump to a kind of hyperspace, and the Silver Surfer reaches out to Sue's belly. At least some folks online have said that her hand phases through Sue's stomach, but the footage description says she almost reaches through Sue's belly. And this is how I know they want that baby. Two significant takeaways from this: Galactus, like I said, wants that baby, and the ship maybe changes upon entering the Thunderbolts, or Franklin Richards is on one ship and the Fantastic Four on another ship, but I'll get into this a little bit later. New Rockstars is headquartered in Los Angeles, and it gets hot here, like over 100 degrees for over a week sometimes. I used to dread summers because I'd wake up covered in sweat at 4 a.m., but then I started sleeping on Miracle Made sheets, and now I'll never go back. Miracle Made's fabric was inspired by NASA, so it's thermoregulating. That means you'll sleep at the perfect temperature all night long. And these sheets are crazy comfortable without the high price tag of other luxury brands. Plus, Miracle Made sheets are infused with silver that prevents bacterial growth. Bacteria can clog your pores, causing breakouts and acne, so sleeping on Miracle Made sheets is good for your skin too. Upgrade your sleep as the weather heats up. Go to trymiracle.com/newrockstars to try Miracle Made sheets today. And whether you're buying them for yourself or as a gift for a loved one, if you order today, you can save over 40%. And if you use our promo, New Rockstars, at checkout, you'll get a free 3-piece towel set and save an extra 20%. Miracle is so confident in their product, it's actually backed with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so if you aren't 100% satisfied, you'll get a full refund. Upgrade your sleep with Miracle Made. Go to trymiracle.com/newrockstars and use the code NEWROCKSTARS to claim your free 3-piece towel set and save over 40% off. Again, that's trymiracle.com/newrockstars to treat yourself. Thank you for Miracle Made for sponsoring today's video. Now, Erik has already theorized that Galactus wants that baby to absorb its powers and own them as his own. Or from the comics, maybe it's the fear that Franklin Richards is the most powerful mutant ever born. In the Empire article, they even detail a moment where Reed is looking anxiously at some star charts and coming to a horrifying conclusion. There seems to be a planet missing. This is Proxima Delphi, a system with a planet similar to our own, which, as you can see, is now gone. So if this was Galactus, I don't presume he's searching for Earth specifically. He's just driven by a need to devour planets, whose energy keeps him alive. So specifically, planets like Earth can sustain him. If Galactus is searching for planets that got that life form energy, maybe it's just not the people on top of the planet that matters, but what's inside that planet. You get what I'm saying here? Could it be that Galactus is searching for planets that contain the right mixture of life that would make them prime targets for celestial seeds? We know that in 616, Earth was chosen as a planet to hold the celestial seed of Tiamat, and thanks to the work of the Eternals, human life was able to flourish, generating enough energy to lead to the emergence of Tiamat. We have to wonder if the Earth we see the Fantastic Four living on in their universe, one that is seemingly peaceful and flourishing, also contains a celestial seed waiting to hatch. And maybe that's what Galactus is really searching for, you know, that rich, chocolatey celestial center of these planets rich with life energy. Probably not, fun at all, but maybe that's what he wants. There's also this theory that it's all just Reed's fault. We do know that Reed may believe he summoned Galactus, which could have just made it easier to find that planet that could give him that energy. So it's a poopy coincidence. However, upon arriving, he may have sensed that the most powerful mutant was about to come. And in all of this, we still don't know what the timeline is, because since this is a trailer, we don't even know when the baby arrives from when the Silver Surfer arrives on Earth. If Reed had sent a beacon out accidentally and Galactus came running, it's really the birth of Franklin Richards that changes the course from the CCXP footage. In the Empire article, they also know that the birth is in the middle of the movie. So whether they're marked for death by the Silver Surfer before or after Franklin was born must be questioned. Do they immediately just hide him and Galactus is like, fine, new deal, I'll kill everyone on this planet unless you deliver that baby? But in the Empire article, they also ask themselves how the Fantastic Four can really beat an ancient destroyer, and allude to the aces up their sleeves being their children, with Vanessa Kirby teasing it's not just adults that have superpowers. And since Feige talked about the origins of the Fantastic Four in this article, we can't really rule out the way the Fantastic Four first dealt with Galactus back in the 60s. Reed Richards was able to use a device called the Ultimate Nullifier to basically scare Galactus off. They didn't kill Galactus, but instead used a powerful cosmic device, which they learned from Uatu the Watcher, to safeguard the planet from Galactus. This all happened in Fantastic Four issues 48, 49, and 50, 3 of the 5 comic issues Marvel Studios told fans to read last year via a release from the Future Foundation. Now, Erik and I have spoken on Sneak Peek, and I'm sure Erik mentioned it in other places, where we hope, or maybe even lightly expect, to see an aged up version of Franklin Richards appearing in one of those ships and being what we need with his reality time warping powers. Yet, I will add, in the Empire article, Kirby discusses we're having to risk things for this baby. The questions in this movie feel like fundamental human ones. And I think personally, a big fundamental human parent is constantly questioning the safest option for your baby. However, what's logical doesn't always intersect with what's the safest option, especially in this predicament for the Fantastic Four, which leads me to believe the safest option is to hide baby Franklin or separate from him so he isn't taken or killed. Some viewers have said from CCXP footage that Reed tells Ben to go into a black hole. Now, Now, does this black hole separate the Fantastic Four from Franklin, or is it that the black hole allows them to enter the Thunderbolts? We just don't know yet, but I wanted to spot that, yes, I've seen that. It also seems from this Empire article that like Galactus is performing Exodus, where God commanded the death of all the firstborn sons. Now, is Galactus playing a real God like that? No, absolutely not. But is he playing a real God? I think so, 100%. Ralph Ineson discusses playing Galactus in this Empire article, saying the concepts of bad and good are not really relevant to someone like him. He's a cosmic force, he's a god of sorts. But he doesn't necessarily think that Galactus is evil, which is a natural approach when you're Galactus. Any humanity or morals you had must be stripped away from you. He's a cosmic force, we're nothing to him, we're literally ants. And I really like that the Empire article discusses the necessity of ensuring the correct Galactus enters the MCU, not the previous portrayals of him. So there's gonna be a lot of grounded, godlike lack of caring and fearlessness that comes from him, and they'll also have a face this time. Though I don't know how impertinent this is in the Empire article, it also flags the many planets that Galactus has devoured in the comics. He ate planets in Thor issue number 162 in 1969, in Fantastic Four issue number 175 in 1976, in Fantastic Four issue number 257 in 1983, and another Thor issue number 730 in 2020. Shakman also acknowledged in this article, though Dr. Doom is a big Fantastic Four villain, Doom is not part of my film and therefore not part of my purview, which is an excellent media train line. This also doesn't mean he won't appear in a post-credit scene, because those don't necessarily have to be directed by Matt Shakman in Matt Shakman's movie, they can come after his movie. And Jake Schreier has talked about how his post-credit scene from Thunderbolts was only filmed a month before the movie's release, and it was directed by the Russo brothers, not him. Though I do think it's enough to say Galactus really sensing Doom in this movie will probably not happen. They also spend time in the Empire article speaking more about the designs, emphasizing practical effects over the usual superhero-like CGI and green screens. And I'm just saying, I need to see everybody using their powers in a trailer soon. I need to see everybody doing it a lot, so I'll be the judge of that. They also speak on the cast, Pedro being perfect because he contains multitudes. For Johnny, Shakman noted, I was interested in Johnny Storm, who was more than just a ladies' man and an adrenaline junkie. I was looking for somebody who could be a dreamer, and I think Joe is an incredible, alive, spontaneous actor. Eben Moss Bachrach being the first member actually cast in this entire like little family, and the rock that they found in the desert, the one that we all know about, the one that they used to make Ben, they know how they took that rock and filmed it in every single shot that the thing appears in the movie under every lighting environment. And I think this is to help the visual effects, but geez Louise, attention to detail. I like it a lot. They talk about Vanessa Kirby, who started researching real science a little too much for the role, and Julia Garner, who while rendered almost completely in CGI, still researched heavily for the surfer stance. And that's just about that for the Empire cover for Fantastic Four, The First Steps. Comment down below your thoughts. Are you excited for this movie? I think we're all excited for this movie, at least we should be. And a special thanks to one of our YouTube members, Cameron, who supports us at the executive producer level. Follow me at Lulu_Clemons, subscribe to all 4 channels in the new Rockstars network for breakdowns and news coverage of everything you love. I'll see you guys later.